Hey everybody, this is the Blue People Podcast.
Hey.
So on tonight's stream, we'll be discussing the relevancy of the dark matter theory in Majora's Mask.
Alright, so the dark matter theory is something that has, even though it has persisted throughout the lifespan of the game, it is something that I feel like is not discussed as much as it should be. How do you feel about the relevance of this theory?
I think that the theory has a lot of plot. For anyone who doesn't know, the dark matter theory of Majora's Mask is that the aliens that come in that farm, in that one side quest that comes in, the theory is that they have been developing a dark matter subworld, and the reason that the moon is crashing down is because it is attracting the moon to the Earth with dark matter. So,
okay,
I think that is a very plausible theory because it's very heavily hinted at in concept arts and the game files itself.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying is that I think we need to revisit this because it's been over 20 years.
I think they had an excellent opportunity to revisit that in the release of Super Smash Bros. Brawl with the Subspace Emissary story mode. It dealt with similar spatial, dark matter, dark energy themes, and the villains creating giant black holes across the world to destroy and create large masses of this dark energy. And they could have connected it somehow, and I feel like that would have been a great way to connect some of the themes and villain goals of the Subspace Emissary to some of the previous lore of Nintendo games, which Majora's Mask is obviously an excellent choice for that because it's a fan-favorite Zelda game. I mean, come on. Everybody loves Majora's Mask.
And there wasn't even that good of representation of Majora's Mask in Smash Bros. Brawl, so I feel like it would have just been a much better choice if instead they would have went with more of a continuation of that sort of storyline, because I think it fits very well within the Smash Bros. Sort of lore.
Yeah, I think it could have also created more of a balance because, first of all, they dropped Young Link and they dropped the Great Bay stage, and they could have balanced it out and not completely replaced that with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker aspects of Zelda, and they could have at least incorporated the Majora's Mask dark matter theory, and if there is validity to the theory, they could have incorporated it into Smash Bros. Brawl.
They could have at least had a trophy or something that you earned from it, but they don't have they basically have little to nothing.
Because a lot of those trophies, the descriptions do give more information regarding the lore than it needs to. A lot of them dive deeper than what is required, so that would have been a great opportunity. That's what I'm saying. Do you see any opportunities or realistic expectations for them revisiting that theme in future games?
Well,
or near future games?
The only reference that they've had to it is Dark Link, because that's how Dark Link was spawned. But it's more just a community Easter egg sort of thing instead of an actual, acknowledgement of the piece itself. It's the lore. Or the theory, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I think they should have just expanded more on that because it's such a gripping idea for the series to explore.
Yeah. And if they're trying to expand the series with mechanics, most of all in the new games, which is fine, and a little bit of lore, I guess, but if you really want to expand, why not build off an aspect of a fan favorite, a game that many Zelda fans would consider the greatest Zelda game of all time?
Exactly. Like Link to the Past.
Why not just build off of that?
Link to the Past brought in the Master Sword because that was the most popular fan theory at the time.
Exactly, yeah.
because it wasn't confirmed until like Miyamoto saw like just how everyone was talking about what if there was a sword that like only a Link could wield, and then he thought that that was like such a good idea, and then he put it into the game via the Master Sword.
Yeah. And that introduced the transitioning between worlds, light and dark, which allowed Ocarina of Time to switch between like present and future, which Majora's Mask could have introduced the dark matter and the whole concept of gravity and the pull of gravity and darkness overcoming the peaceful world. They could have branched off of that into a new Zelda game.
And instead of having a fire temple, they could have had a blue fire temple.
They could have had a blue fire temple. They could have had a... No, I mean, blue's the only water temple you can have, but... I feel like since Spirit Temple, we haven't really got an orange temple that isn't just trying too hard to be like, desert-themed.
Right.
Because Arbiter's Grounds, that was a good temple, but too much death and just like old sand temple. There wasn't enough mystical.
What does that even mean, Arbiter's Grounds? Like, who's the
No,
Arbiter?
no one even knows what that means.
Arbiter's Ground? Like, who's the Arbiter and why is that? Why is this his grounds? This
Yeah.
doesn't, like, connect to anything in the previous game.
It doesn't. And it's fucking stupid. I said it.
I think you went a little too far with that. I wouldn't go as far as to say that,
Okay.
but... So you just made it really uncomfortable now.
Alright, I'm sorry.
We'll move
I'm sorry.
past it. We'll move past it.
Okay, thank
because-
you. I'm sorry. When you're so passionate about something and you get the chance to speak about it, and it all funnels forth, and it ends up dragging a lot more with it, and the gravity of your negativity just overcomes some areas where it should not have even entered. Why am I talking about this perfectly fine dungeon in Twilight Princess, beautiful temple, beautiful introduction and area in the game? Why am I trying to bring that down just because I want some aspect of lore of a game made less than 10 years prior? I want some aspect of that game with a theory, mind you, to be brought back in the lore and built into a current game? Where is the sense in that? Pardon me.
You know what? Actually, after you go through your thought process with that, I actually think I agree with you a little more. Because Twilight Princess was such a monumental failure compared to every other one. And that's just because, like, it didn't have any, like, special fan theories as much as, like, Majora's Mask did, especially with the dark matter theory.
Alright, if you do not want this stream to go on for 3+ hours, we probably should not introduce the opinion that Twilight Princess was a failure in any means. But I get what you're saying. It does not hold the significance that most games and surrounding games of Twilight Princess hold with the fans, but I think the art is incredible in that game. The fact that it was originally released on the GameCube blows my mind every time I think about
It
it.
was originally released on the GameCube?
That's right, yeah. Link was left-handed. And they flipped the entire game.
Can you believe that?
They mirrored the entire game to suit the American player.
They mirrored the game?
They mirrored the entire game to suit the Japanese player,
Like
and
the
American
Hidden Mansion?
player, and European player, holding the Wii remote in their right hand.
Like the Hidden Mansion in Luigi's Mansion?
I was kind of thinking, like, what am I thinking about right now? When I said mirror that game, I was thinking of the mirror in Luigi's Mansion. And you know what? The mirror in Luigi's Mansion, it also brings as the Greeks say, forms, which are like ideas that are so ancient and personified that they are brought forth into the natural world almost like as if they were individuals. They are brought forth through the mirror in Luigi's mansion. And I think that's where Luigi, I think that's the quest he's on, right? Isn't that the point of that game? It's not so much Luigi's mansion and he's trying to clear the ghosts out as it's Luigi is Luigi spirit in the house of Luigi's mansion, which is his body and his life. And he is clearing out the demons of his ego through the mirrors of self-reflection.